Local coverage you can count on. This is Fox 13 News at 5.
The national spotlight on a Shelby County inmate program. It has a tie to Washington on the night of the president's final State of the Union address. We are the only Memphis news station covering all angles of this story from Memphis and inside the U.S. Capitol. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Merle Purvis.
And I'm Daryl Green. We first broke this story on Facebook on Sunday. Shelby County's Republican Mayor Mark Luttrell will be First Lady Michelle Obama's guest tonight. The president is expected to highlight a criminal justice program started right here at home. We have team coverage tonight. Fox 13's Kristen Lee talked with the people who tell us the program changed their lives. Washington reporter Jacqueline Fell has spent the day talking to our local members of Congress. And we start with investigative reporter Greg Coy. He's on Capitol Hill asking why Mayor Luttrell was chosen for this honor. Greg, Tennessee's senior senator, has his theory on why.
Absolutely, Daryl. Daryl, I'm inside Statuary Hall, which is basically about 100 feet from the chambers where President Barack Obama is going to deliver his final State of the Union address. I spent the day with Mayor Mark Luttrell of Shelby County. He was walking the halls here of Congress, sort of a victory lap of sorts, as members of Tennessee's congressional delegation, the congressmen and the senators, were all praising him for his bipartisan effort for judicial reform. I didn't see him coming, but Shelby County Mayor Mark Luttrell did.
Great to see you. Good to see you. I hope so.
Tennessee's senior U.S. Senator Lamar Alexander walking the halls. He wanted to acknowledge the Shelby County mayor for getting an invite to the State of the Union address.
I'm delighted to see Mark be honored tonight. That's a terrific.
Thank you.
It's not excusing the crime, but it's really getting to the causal effects of criminal behavior and trying to address prevention and intervention.
Hey, now you're sitting with the First Lady?
I am.
U.S. Senator Bob Corker made it a point to praise the county mayor in front of our cameras. Luttrell is one of only a handful of people invited by First Lady Michelle Obama to sit with her in the gallery to watch the president's final State of the Union address. Luttrell told me he believes it's because of his willingness to be bipartisan on some issues.
So really, when you get down to our level of running cities and counties, it's not as partisan as you'll find in some other areas.
And if you were noticing closely, obviously you saw Mayor Jim Strickland. He was there as well. His seat's not going to be as good, but he'll still be able to see and hear the speech because he is a guest of Congressman Steve Cohen. This, by the way, was Mayor Jim Strickland's first visit to Washington, D.C., and coming up in about 25 minutes, I'm going to tell you how he's trying to make the best of it for himself as well as his constituents back in Memphis, Tennessee. Reporting live inside the Capitol Rotunda at Statuary Hall, I'm Greg Coy, Fox 13 News. Folks, back to you.
All right. And Greg, Fox 13 wanted to know what is so special about Mayor Luttrell's reform program. Fox 13's Kristen Lee spent today asking questions. She got the rest of the story. Kristen, you found out how this reform program is changing lives.
Merle, when the men and women at the Shelby County Correction Center exit those doors, they're faced with the world of challenges that comes with being a convicted criminal. Now today I've learned Mark Luttrell's program is there to help these inmates re-enter society. And those two men I spoke with, they're using their criminal background to encourage others not to make the same mistakes.
I didn't like the crackhead. I didn't like that I would hurt family. I would steal. I would do these things. I didn't like that person.
I didn't have to ask a question. Guy Graves immediately began telling his story. He got out of prison 6 months ago. He told me he found God. He's sober. He has a job. Most importantly, he says he has a purpose.
I now understand. Life is about others. It's not about self. And when I'm doing his will, I'm not doing mine. And that's how I view life.
He credits the Memphis and Shelby County Office of Reentry for helping him to start over.
The folks who work here, this is not just a job. This is more of a mission for them because you have to be concerned about the outcomes of the individual who's sitting in front of you to do that.
Phyllis Fickling gave me a tour of Shelby County's rehabilitation facility for criminals today.
She's one of our case managers.
It's a product of Mayor Mark Luttrell's criminal justice reforms. The program helps people with criminal records apply for jobs, get an education, reconnect with family, eventually allowing them to live a productive life.
My success is personal. It's not wealth. It's not nothing like that. My success is just because I'm not dissatisfied with who I am. You know, that's the biggest hurdle.
I also spoke with a former law enforcement officer today who spent 96 months in jail. Now he's using his troubled past to be a positive influence for kids in Fraser. We'll have that story for you tonight on Fox 13 News at 9. For now, reporting live at the Shelby County Corrections Center, Kristen Lee, Fox 13 News.
All right, coming up at 5:23, we continue our team coverage. Jacqueline Fell explains from Washington what the president is expected to say during his final State of the Union address.
This is new video of the grave in a South Haven backyard. We broke this story Monday morning after investigators recovered human remains there. Tonight, the property owner shows us the crime scene. Fox 13's Tom Dees is live in South Haven right now, where police think they know who did this. Tom?
Daryl, that they do want to show you. We're in the backyard. The grave, we understand, is right back there, right before you get to the woods. South Haven PD telling us they think they know who the body belongs to. The homeowner tells me he thinks he knows who did this. South Haven PD only telling me that this is a death investigation.
How could he have gotten this past me? You know, when could he have done this? You know,
Calvin Holloway's family has owned the property for 40 years. He tells me the body was discovered here in a deep grave behind the house.
His plan must have been extensive. It had to have been well thought out.
Holloway tells me he suspects a man named Joe. The body, he tells me, was found here about 5 feet down. It would not have been easy to bury someone here.
Because that soil down there is real heavy. It's real tough.
South Haven PD tells me Holloway and his family are not suspects. What I have also learned is that a man named Joseph Schnabel lived at this address for a number of years. Schnabel is currently behind bars on unrelated charges. Holloway wouldn't tell us if the Joe he spoke of was Schnabel or not.
It took me by surprise, and I just tried to run through the events of, you know, when he was here, when Joe was here at the house, when he could have had time to do what and for how long.
Multiple sources tell me an inmate was brought to the scene and pointed the grave out. Who it was, we don't know. The body has been taken to UT Knoxville for an autopsy. South Haven police tell us they believe they know who it is, but they won't tell us now. Now, medical experts, we do understand, still going through dental records, trying to figure out who this person is. South Haven PD saying they won't tell us until they are 100% certain. Reporting live in South Haven, I'm Tom Dees for Fox 13 News.
New at 5, police are searching for a voluntary manslaughter suspect after the death of Daniel Lusk at Corning Village Apartments. Fox 13's Marius Payton is live from Corning Village. Marius, police gave you details about just what happened that night.
That's right, Merle. Police are searching for Ovell Jones. He is the man wanted in connection with the shooting death of Daniel Lusk. Now, Jones is the brother of 13-year-old Latara Jones. She was also killed at these apartments on January 4th. Police say she was downstairs in the family's apartment when a bullet struck her and a 3-week-old baby. Now, these are the new details. A witness tells police that her boyfriend and 2 friends were playing with a gun upstairs when it went off and a bullet came flying through the ceiling and struck 13-year-old Latara Jones. Police say the witness told them her brother then ran upstairs and told the 3 men, "Y'all shot my sister." That's when the witness says 2 of the men ran. Daniel Lusk tried to escape through a window, and that's when he was shot and killed. Once again, police are looking for Ovell Jones, and he is wanted for manslaughter in the shooting death of Daniel Lusk. If you know where Ovell Jones is or know anything about this crime, you're asked to call Crime Stoppers. That number, 528-CASH. Reporting from Raleigh, Marius Payton, Fox 13 News.
All right, thank you, Marius. Well, we got a little bit of a reprieve from the cold today, but we will still get below freezing later tonight. Chief Meteorologist Joey Sullipek is in Severe Weather Center 13. Joey?
Temperatures outside right now, Daryl, close to 50. We're just under that point, 47 degrees, while we're watching a beautiful clean sky, sunset, no clouds out there. 44-degree wind chill, so it is already starting to get a little bit colder. We've got very little cloud cover in the entire Fox 13 viewing area. Things are very dry out there, very stable, and giving us a beautiful shot, like I just mentioned, looking over the river into West Memphis, Arkansas. Another beautiful thing here, the river level continuing to drop slowly, but it's on the decline. Good news. Here's what you're going to be dealing with tonight, folks. If you've got errands to run, practices to go to, take the jacket. Between 7 and 10 p.m., that wind chill is going to drop into the low 30s, and the 20s are not far away. I'll tell you how cold it's going to get coming up.
All right, now to a developing story in Iran. 10 American sailors are in Iranian custody after 2 small U.S. Navy craft apparently briefly entered Iranian waters. U.S. defense leaders say the situation is expected to be resolved quickly without hostility. ISIS is being blamed tonight for a deadly explosion in Turkey. At least 10 people killed. It happened at a major tourist attraction in Istanbul. No group claimed responsibility for the blast, but the Turkish Prime Minister blamed the Islamic State, which has entrenched itself in neighboring Syria and Iraq.
A children's cough syrup is being recalled across the country. Coming up, what you parents need to know about tonight. Plus, the Powerball jackpot is up to $1.5 billion. So why are all the billboards around the Mid-South about $500 million short in the totals they show? We'll explain the funky math. And what do you think about this? An employee at a popular chain restaurant caught on camera washing her hair where food is prepared? We'll tell you where in the Mid-South this happened.
If you're not